The interwar years. The contribution of the Empire to Britain's effort in World War I led to demands for independence. In 1926, a Commonwealth of Nations was formed, including the Dominions of Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. This marked the end of the British Empire and the recognition of equal status for all member states of the new organisation. In Ireland, the Sinn Féin party was voted into power in 1918 and set up an independent parliament in Dublin, the Dáil, in 1919. The IRA, Irish Republican Army, declared open war on Britain and carried out terrorist attacks. British black and tan police auxiliaries used brute force against them, culminating in Bloody Sunday in 1920, when 12 people were shot dead in Dublin. An Irish Free State was set up, leaving just the 6 counties of Protestant Ulster under British rule. The end of the war brought an initial world economic boom and new means of mass communication. Radio broadcasting was developed, and the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, was created in 1927. Economic depression in Britain, however, grew because of a shift in markets during the war. Unemployment increased, and the boom years ended when the effects of the Wall Street crash of 1929 hit Europe. In 1933, Adolf Hitler and his Nazi Party came to power in Germany. They formed an alliance with the Italian dictator Benito Mussolini. The world looked on in horror as aggression mounted in Europe.
The USA in the first half of the 20th century. In the 1920s, the economy continued to grow, though large areas like the southwestern mining towns, the farmers of the Midwest, and the urban industrial workers remained untouched by the new wealth. The 20s saw a growth in reactionary attitudes like the Red Scare, that is, the fear of socialism. Political activists with radical or labor backgrounds were imprisoned and persecuted. The open-door immigration policy was replaced with restrictions and the segregation of minorities into city slums like Harlem in New York. Prohibition was introduced to fight alcohol addiction among the poor, but in reality, it encouraged the illegal traffic of bootleggers and increased the phenomenon of gangsterism. In 1929, the American stock market collapsed. The Wall Street crash marked the beginning of a worldwide economic crisis known as the Great Depression. Thousands of businessmen and millions of common people found themselves facing debt and ruin. Factories shut down, banks crashed, and nearly 8 million Americans were unemployed, spending hours in bread lines for free food. The Great Plains region was devastated by drought, and the consequent Dust Bowl conditions forced 60% of the farmers to migrate to California. In 1932, Franklin D. Roosevelt became president and promised the Americans a New Deal of relief, recovery, reform. Billions of dollars were spent on relief for the unemployed, on public works, and on the conservation of natural resources. Farm rehabilitation was promoted with techniques to regenerate the soil. American factories received a new impulse from the Second World War. At the outbreak of World War II, the United States maintained neutrality, but after joining the war in 1941, resources were focused on winning, including funding for the Manhattan Project to produce and test the first atomic bomb.